It's only been 2 weeks since Microsoft Ignite, and we already have more announcements of what is coming to Microsoft 365 Copilot. We've known that Microsoft have given us over 700 updates. It's no surprise that we've got more since a conference only 2 weeks ago. So this video is all about the announcements that they've made post Microsoft Ignite around Microsoft 365 Copilot, Microsoft Copilot, and a few of the different features that you get inside of Word, Excel, but also what you can see from analytics and how it may well improve you in your outcome from a business point of view. We're also going to look at some of the Copilot architecture changes that we're starting to see, which will be the future of how Copilot runs within your environment. So let's take a look. As you can see here, the 29th of November, Microsoft released more information around what's looking new in Microsoft Copilot for November to 2024. Actually, there's some announcements here that are post-Ignite, which is why we're going to go and take a look at these and why this is so important. So thanks to Seth for sending this information out to us and giving us a regular cadence of updates. Viva Engage was previously Yammer. It's really important that we go and take a look at Yammer again and Viva Engage and see what are the enhancements and how it may be able to support your organization. It certainly has more and more features that you may well find useful to certain scenarios or to your whole organization and your culture. So no surprise that we're going to start seeing some Copilot features added to Viva Engage. And as you can see here, it just talks about how there's certain knowledge that is going into Viva Engage that they want to start presenting to you inside of Microsoft Teams. So if we take a look at this as a full screen and see what this is kind of looking like, when I go and ask a question inside of Copilot, as you can see, I'm inside the Teams here, I'm not inside the biz chat, and here I am, I've gone and asked a question, it's told me where it's pulled this information from. It's pulled it from Viva Engage, you can see the logo there. We've also pulled it from PowerPoint, and we've also pulled it from other areas of Teams and where else you might find it. As we've hovered over, as you can see here, it says it's a verified answer. This is similar to other forums that you may well see across Microsoft on that public side of things. That includes things like, this is the question that was asked. This is the verified answer. This is the way to be able to go off and fix it. So we're bringing those verified answers into Copilot and for you to be able to go off and search for it. That's one of the features that you now get with Copilot and Viva Engage, this ability to be able to go off and do Q&A style things. Copilot in Viva Glint is now available to us. Glint has been an absolutely brilliant tool if you've gone off and you've played with it to be able to find out more about your organization and where you currently stand as teams. So asking questions and surveys, and of course that gives us comments. It gives us all sorts of feedback about different departments, how we're doing. Well, Copilot is going to be here to be able to support us to summarize those comments. You're a large organization, you may well have tens of thousands of people that pull up and give you information into your HR, while now Copilot will be able to go off and actually help you to understand this data and actually give you summarizations of what people are saying as part of it. So nice to see this kind of going into Viva Glint. Copilot Web on mobile. You may well have seen Copilot being added to your Outlook if you've got an Android device or an iPhone. But we now have this ability that we can go off and talk to both work data and web. Web wasn't there at first, but we've now got that. So ability to be able to toggle over and search off and find whatever is on the internet and bringing it back to us to give us the response that we want it to be. But work being that element of, you know what, that data that I can see inside of my Microsoft environment. Word has had all sorts of enhancements and it is developing and maturing very fast from a Copilot point of view. Hence why we're going to see quite a few different things that are changing in the next kind of couple of slides on this. So first one here, it says we can actually include up to 10 reference files now when drafting Copilot inside of Word, which is great. It's not just going to be Word though, it's also going to be PowerPoint files, PDFs, meeting transcriptions, emails, lots of different things. And because of that, we're going to see actually 4 times greater around the prompt reference size and what it can bring. So as it says here, the total of all the attachment reference combined has expanded to approximately 80,000 words. So we can look at a transcription, you can look at a Word document, you can look at an email and pull up to 80,000 words out of the context of those 10 files that I'm potentially referencing. And previously we had a bit of a limit of when we're typing a prompt inside of Word that actually had kind of a text limit. That's now been dropped to help you to be able to get better prompts into your Word. So let's have a quick look at some of these. So as you can see here, we've got this new panel to point out first at the top, that Copilot. Before we had something that kind of hovered over. Now when we start a new file, it shows this at the very top. And you can see here, okay, we've got 10 different files or items that have been referenced to help with the output that we want to be able to get out from this meeting. So this is create a new document from all those different kind of files that you can see there. Here's a little example of where actually we're not just referencing Word files anymore or just PowerPoint presentations. We can go off and we can do people, email, documents, meetings, and the transcriptions that we've got, and we can pull this through. This is something that we've had inside of BizChat, and if you go and do a /, it shows you a bit of a drop down, and actually here we can now get this inside of Word as well. So I'm really pleased with this one because it's one of those limitations that I find that I have to use BizChat to be able to go off and get that reference and then copy it inside of Word. Now I can just use it directly into Word. Another thing that as an enhancement into Word is the ability to be able to have the DALL-E 3 image creation, create an image inside of Word. So we ask it to create that, and then we can click on, you can see it just there below the images, it says insert. So we select the image we want, then it can insert it into the Word document. Again, you don't have to go into BizChat, get the image, copy it or download it, and then insert it into Word. This is some of that productivity and bringing it directly into the Word ecosystem. So nice little update that's coming from that point of view. Jumping into PowerPoint, I've done previous videos around slide masters and why slide masters are so important to Copilot inside of PowerPoint. But Microsoft have actually officially released some reference documentation now where you can go off and you can download this information, some kind of starter templates as well. I'll put that link in the description below. I'll also link up the video so you can go off and you can watch the video where I talk about slide masters and why they are so important to Copilot in PowerPoint. But this is a really important document for any organization that want to keep their branding, want to keep their slides correct when we start talking about Copilot and our end users creating slides and presentations inside of PowerPoint. What we have also got are some enhancements around the story mode and building up your slides inside of PowerPoint. If you've not seen this, as you can see, here's a little GIF that's playing. This is the ability for you to be a bit more granular around the different slides and what you want the content to be. But we've gotten some enhancements into this so we can reference, as you can see here, I want a new slide about a topic about, and I can reference a file. So that slide just becomes about that particular file. This is great because instead of Copilot just going off and building this, we have the ability to be able to say, you know what, I want that slide to have a little bit of this, I want that slide to have a little bit of that. So a great way for us to be able to, you know what, customize what Copilot will go off and then automate and create for us. Copilot, where it presents to you inside the BizChat, inside of Teams, and inside of Outlook, has also now got the ability to be able to use your web data in here. This is super important because, again, you had to go to a different place. So presenting it inside of Teams is super important. But also, I wanted to point out a few of the other enhancements that are mentioned here just below this. We lost some features recently inside of Edge, the ability to be able to go off and say, you know what, I want to be able to analyze this page. Can you give me it and analyze this PDF? Could be a external web page, internal web page. We lost that feature, but we've now got it back, as you says in here, in the Edge browser sidebar. Users can now ask Copilot to summarize an open web page or PDF file. So we've got that back. We've also got a few others in here. Copilot will provide contextual prompt suggestions to help users ask prevent questions about an open web page. So it's going to be help you to analyze that page and give you some kind of prompts that you might want to be able to go off and use in that kind of space. Users can put more information into their prompts because the input size has increased. So again, we've got it back, but we've also got the enhancements. And users now have the ability to search for their meetings with external individuals in business chats. So we can go off and we can start kind of pulling information from other locations that we may well find as a limitation. You may well have noticed that Copilot Lab's got a rename because we've got something else called Copilot Lab. That is a consumer part of Copilot. So Copilot Lab has now been renamed to Copilot Prompt Gallery. I've always liked the prompt gallery. It's a really important feature. And as you can see here, this ability to be able to go off and see your prompts, but now we'll be able to save them. And we'll be able to save them into a built-in product as part of that Microsoft 365 Copilot license. So when we click on save, it will actually appear. Let me just show you where this kind of then goes into that Copilot prompt gallery, and I can share it with my team. As you says, your prompts, as you can see here, you've got your team prompts and suggested prompts. I like that prompt. I'm going to go off and save it into my prompts so that it becomes easier for you to be able to find it and use it inside your Copilot licenses. Now, one of the biggest conversations I have with the organization is, where are my enhancements? How do I ensure that, I'm getting the return on investment? It's very expensive. What am I going to do? Well, Microsoft are now introducing something called Copilot Analytics. This is something you should be investing in. How are your users using Copilot? That is an important question. If you are wanting and wondering how you're going to spend all this money, and how you're going to be able to explain back, on our Microsoft licensing renewal, it's quite expensive. It's an addition. Are we getting things back? You need to be looking at how people are using Copilot across your organization. And as you see here, Microsoft actually announced at Ignite, but given us a bit more information here, this Copilot Analytics. A brilliant way for you to be able to understand how people are using Copilot inside of your environment, and it's presented to you inside of Viva Insights. So IT managers and any kind of analytics can be given this information, and you go off and use it. One of the things I really like from what Microsoft have just given to us is this little colored box that you can see here, and I'm going to kind of just zoom in ever so slightly, and it's got here recommended individual level business outcome metrics for analysis. This is really useful. Thank you to Microsoft for giving us actually some business case and real opportunities as to why people might be using Copilot. So how can I use it inside of marketing or finance or legal? So thanks for giving us some case studies and case references that we can go off and use inside of our organization to help to actually build out some of this adoption moving forward. This is how it's presented, a little bit more into insights. So you can put your own KPIs in there, seeing what are the top features used by employees with favorable business outcomes, summarizing meetings with Copilot, certainly seeing that the most. The more mature your prompt is, the better you actually get out of it. So you can kind of start to see how people are doing it. Again, Microsoft have announced they're going to start giving us more information into these kind of dashboards and the Copilot dashboard. So metrics and insights added to Copilot dashboard, intelligent recap, visibility as tables, chat inside of Copilot and PowerPoint, and also Copilot chat from a web point of view as well. How are people using that element on top of things like that Microsoft 365 Copilot? So if we take a look at this one, there's a bit of a deep dive as kind of what this might look back to you. You can kind of see the number of active Copilot users all together, what they're using across the different applications, and those different elements of web chat, work chat, biz chat, and seeing what the top applications that are currently being used. Don't forget there are at least 15 different applications. So how are they using it in Loop? How are they using it inside of all sorts of different things? So looking outside of the November Microsoft 365 Copilot announcement, we have got a few other things hidden away in other blog posts. One of the blog posts that is out there is around video enhancements inside of Microsoft 365. I'll put the link below if you're into stream and video enhancements and what Microsoft are doing across the board. But there's one particular little announcement in there around Copilot. So as you can kind of see here, summarizing videos with Microsoft 365 Copilot. Sometimes you don't have that ability to go off and watch that video at that moment in time, or you actually can't actually sit down and find 45 minutes to watch a video. I want to need a summarization of this video and what's kind of going on. That's exactly what you're going to get with your Copilot license. So just kind of taking this screenshot here and having a look at it, as you will see that at the bottom there, just towards the bottom of the video, we've got this watch summary. So we can get a very quick understanding of what's going on with this video that's been sent to us, that's hosted inside of Stream. So do go off and have a look at this. This talks about Clipchamp, this post, as well as some of the Copilot enhancements So something to bear in mind, and another enhancement that you're going to get as part of your Microsoft 365 Copilot license. And just looking at the last one or two here, the other one here is within the SharePoint updates for November, announced on the 26th of November, this rewriting feature inside of Copilot in SharePoint. So when you're going off and you're building text, as you can kind of see here, this ability to be able to go off and write what you've got or what it thinks is important, then you've got the ability to be able to go off and adjust. As you can see here, say make it more concise, make it longer, more casual, professional, engaging, creative. There are lots of different ones that you can take advantages of should you want to be able to go off and do this. Now, if you follow me on LinkedIn, which you are more than welcome to go off and do, you would have seen me post last night about how that Microsoft are changing the architecture of how Copilot works. We are seeing more kind of silicon and AI being able to run on your local machine. But at this moment in time, and all those enhancements that I've just talked about go directly to the cloud, it makes the understanding and the changes and then brings it back down. This is great because you actually get the power of the cloud. But the other problem with some of this is the fact that actually it costs more to host it and run it inside of a data center. It costs more from an environmental point of view and sustainability. It's kind of, as it says here, can be a little bit slower, but you still get the power of the cloud, and I like that. With Copilot Plus PCs, we've got the power of the local machine. These Copilot Plus PCs come with a neural processing unit, an NPU, that can run trillions of transactions per second. But what we're going to start to see is information coming out of how Copilot and Copilot for Microsoft 365 can run on the local machine rather than necessarily going to the cloud. So within a YouTube video that I was actually watching from Microsoft Ignite, and I can't find a blog post anywhere that actually describes and talks about this, one of the things it talks about is its ability to be able to summarize and rewrite your emails. So things we've talked about in previous updates, we're going to be having running this on the local machine rather than going up to the cloud. So when you have a Copilot Plus PC, it comes with some variations of large language models or small language models, as some documentation says. So then you can summarize and you can run AI locally on your machine and also offline. So if you don't have to be on an internet connection, you can get Copilot to run and analyze this information for you as part of it. So the architecture of how Copilot, Microsoft 365 Copilot, and other third-party applications that can take advantage of the Windows Copilot library will take an enhancement over the coming 12 months. As my biggest prediction for 2025 will be Copilot will run more locally on your machine. So there we have it. More updates, more announcements, more feature enhancements, more analytical information, and more reasons to be able to go off and get your Microsoft 365 Copilot. Take a link in the descriptions around any of the announcements. There's lots of things in there you can also do, like subscribe and hit the like button for me, and I'll see you soon on The Value Add.